welcome to the Meridian House for what's going to be a wonderful moment and beyond. First, thanks to the Greg Watkins Band. For 6 years, Culture Fix has celebrated a simple but powerful idea. The culture and sports are not separate from diplomacy. They are some of the most effective expressions of it. Artists, athletes, designers, storytellers, musicians, and sports and cultural leaders shape how countries see one another, well beyond formal diplomacy. They create connection, they spark curiosity, they challenge assumptions, they inspire greatness, and remind us all of our shared humanity. Over the years, this stage has honored extraordinarily sports and cultural leaders, including Gloria and Amelia Estefan, the NFL's Roger Goodell, Anna Deavere Smith, Hank William Thomas, and many others whose work has defined what culture diplomacy looks like in practice. Tonight, we continue that tradition by recognizing 6 remarkable honorees whose talents and achievements have helped shape mindsets and open the realm of possibility for people around the world. Before we celebrate tonight's honorees, I want to begin by thanking the extraordinary leaders who helped make this evening possible. To our Culture Fix co-chairs, Elizabeth Dugal, who also chairs the Meridian Center for Cultural and Sports Diplomacy, and Manisha Kapani, who is among the newest members of our Board of Trustees. Thank you for your leadership and partnership. And also to our congressional co-chairs, the Honorable James Walkinshaw, the Honorable Nicholas Langworthy. Thank you for your bipartisan support of cultural diplomacy and Meridian's mission. I also wish to thank this evening's underwriters, Marlene Malik, and Stephanie and Mark Robinson, and Deborah Lair and John Rogers, as well as Fred Hochberg and Tom Healy, Francis Rooney, Faring, especially Jade Shields, who's here tonight, Microsoft, especially Fred Humphreys, Melanie and Adam Lewis, Sarah Aronson, Shafiq Kabir, and the Embassy of the State of Qatar. We want to extend our heartfelt thanks to the members of Congress and the government leaders and the foreign dignitaries who are with us tonight, including Representatives Costa and Kiley, as well as the ambassadors of Egypt, Lebanon, and Oman, as well as Ana Irene Delgado. Your presence is a powerful reminder of how policy, sports, and culture work together to enrich our international community. Earlier today, Culture Fix Conversations underscored the power of bringing diverse perspectives into the same room and the urgency of acting on what emerges from it. I'm a better person from having attended, and we were inspired by each one of the speakers. In fact, one of my earliest memories is a powerful testament to cultural diplomacy. I attended the 1976 Olympics. I shared a stadium with Caitlin, then competing as Bruce Jenner, Nadia Comaneci, and Queen Elizabeth. And I was reminded of that power when we visited the art exhibit today featured by Zachary Achman, who we're honored to have here tonight. What a spectacular demonstration of cultural diplomacy. And these memories will stay with me and for all of us forever. And I know tonight is not a night you will soon forget. So now it is my privilege to introduce our wonderful co-chairs, Elizabeth Dugal and Manisha Kapani, to the stage to open this evening's ceremony.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening. It is so wonderful to be here with you all tonight, and a special honor to share this evening with my fellow co-chair, Manisha Kapani. It's been a lot of fun. We would also like to thank our incredibly generous host committee, along with Deborah Lair, Dave, and TK Harvey, Natalie Jones, Sylvie Stainton, Sienna Giardenti, and the entire Meridian team. It really takes an entire village to put on such a stellar program today and this beautiful gala tonight. I really would like to thank the Meridian team. We are incredibly proud to chair the 6th annual Culture Fix celebration and to witness this awe-inspiring ceremony grow bigger and bigger and more impactful each year. We are really proud to share with you that we have exceeded our financial goal tonight. And so thank you all for making this very happen. One of the things that I love most about Culture Fix is the opportunity to see people from entirely different worlds come together in conversation, from artists to diplomats, athletes and designers, journalists and scholars. When people gather with a shared commitment to building a more connected, passionate, and peaceful future, remarkable things really can happen. As you know, tonight we continue in that spirit as we honor 6 extraordinary individuals whose work exemplifies the very best of cultural diplomacy. And now over to Manisha.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I joined Meridian's Board of Trustees just yesterday, and I am incredibly proud to be a part of this esteemed group. Seeing you all here today reaffirms the future of humanity and the institution's mission to cultivate relationships within the global arena. Tonight's honorees exemplify the essence of being part of something greater than ourselves. They play a pivotal role in transforming our collective vision of a brighter future into a tangible reality. Whether it's inspiring young people to believe in themselves and excel in sports and life, representing our American identity as artist envoys abroad, preserving humanity's greatest imaginative achievements, through responsible stewardship and tourism, or connecting cultures from Beirut to the world's most renowned stages, through design. Each of them has contributed invaluable threads to the fabric of our society. They serve as a reminder that our shared values far, far outweigh our differences. Now, I am delighted to introduce this evening's Master of Ceremonies, Phil Mattingly. Phil is CNN's chief domestic correspondent and anchor. Throughout his illustrious career, he has provided insightful, clear, and often humorous coverage of the White House, Congress, and presidential politics. We are thrilled to have him join us today to lead tonight's program. Please join me in welcoming Phil Mattingly.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be with you tonight as your MC for this year's Culture Fix Awards. Thank you to David, Elizabeth, Manisha. You guys nailed it. Manisha, I know you were little. You nailed it. Nailed it. Total natural. There was no secret. I didn't tell them what we actually talked about. Don't. So when I was asked to do this, I was thrilled for a number of reasons, not the least of which is we have 4 young kids, and the ability of my wife, Chelsea, and I to get out on an evening without any of those kids is not insignificant. But it differed so sharply from what I'm often asked to do, which is go talk to groups of people where the primary topic of conversation is why is nothing working? Why is everything terrible? How are you dealing with whatever's going on a day-to-day basis? And I think I always surprise those groups because I am really optimistic about things. It's a curse on some level. But it is almost entirely because of the experiences I've had in my life that directly tie into the kind of key pillars that this institution represents, that this event celebrates, and that these honorees embody. Because I was able to live kind of the spirit of this. I was an Army brat growing up. For those of you who are not familiar with the lexicon, that's not pejorative. We say that with good heart. And remember being fortunate enough to move all over the world with my father and my mother and my sister, and be in Germany playing pickup soccer with kids who, by the end of the game, made me question American exceptionalism for the first time because of how badly they defeated me. Don't worry, I said, Army brat. My father was an Army Ranger. Very quickly, it was beaten back into my head. We are exceptional people. But those connections and those relationships that I made overseas, that I made in military bases around the country, are what has driven something that I think I had a producer once tell me, you have a superpower when we were out in the field. And I said, yes, it's my hair. And she said, no, your hair's fine. But you find a way to connect with people. When you're out talking to whoever you're dealing with, you always are able to find something in common. And she asked how that happened. And I said, well, I grew up all over the place. I didn't really have a home. But I had a million experiences talking to different people from different walks of life and different cultures. And those experiences were enhanced by playing sports as I got older and played international baseball and made the Germans pay for what they did to me when I was 5. Had the Latin Americans make very clear exceptionalism was still a problem for me. But the idea that what this represents has real power is not some amorphous concept to me. I am a devout believer in the reality of it. Culture Fix exists because of a simple but powerful belief that sports, the culture, they don't just reflect the world, they actually shape it. Tonight is about people whose work has shaped how the world sees itself, how it sees each other. A designer whose work has carried culture into some of the world's most influential rooms, an archaeologist and a guardian of history, one of the most recognizable contemporary artists in the world, and some of the most groundbreaking, and let's be honest, sky-piercing athletes of our generation. Our first honoree has spent her career bringing elegance, craftsmanship, and cultural identity into some of the world's most consequential rooms. Fashion shapes global perceptions every day. It can send messages and tell stories without ever using a word.
Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor for me to honor a woman whose work blends elegance, craftsmanship, timeless beauty, and global influence, Reem Acra. Reem, a Lebanese-American fashion designer, grew up in Beirut, where she first discovered her love for creativity and design. Her journey into fashion design began unexpectedly. While attending a party in a silk organza dress she had embroidered herself, Reem caught the attention of a fashion editor who encouraged her to pursue design professionally. That single moment transformed a private person into a public calling. Newly inspired and determined to follow, newly inspired, it came off here. Newly inspired and determined to follow her dream, Reem went on to study at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York and at the Graduate School of Fashion Design, Arts and Technologies in Paris. So over time, her personal vision blossomed into a global luxury brand celebrated for excellence, detail, and artistry. So even beyond fashion, Reem's impact and influence are undeniable. So in 2012, Forbes named her the 7th most powerful Arab woman globally, recognizing her leadership, influence, and achievements across the culture, business, and philanthropy. So there's no shortage of impressive things to say about Reem Acra. So what inspires us most is the way she has transformed a personal passion into a global brand without losing the artistry, elegance, authenticity that first made her work remarkable. We now have a message from Her Royal Highness Princess Rima bint Bandar Al Saud. She is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. She's the ambassador to the United States.
Good evening, everyone. And I so wish I could be with you all in person to celebrate and honor someone who represents the very best of what happens when creativity, culture, and identity come together. Tonight, we honor a remarkable woman, a woman who's a trailblazer, Reem Acra. Reem has built a sensational brand through her designs, but what makes her journey especially meaningful is that she did it so authentically. Reem has never distanced herself from where she came from. From Beirut, Lebanon, Reem brought her heritage and her culture into every room that she entered. And in doing so, she helped broaden the world's understanding of Arab creativity and excellence. Long before the global fashion industry fully appreciated the influence of the region, Reem understood the women of the Middle East, and she understood their confidence, their elegance, their individuality, and their presence. That understanding is reflected in her work, not simply in its beauty, but in the way it makes women feel seen. What I admire most is that her designs never wear the woman. Instead, they elevate her. They let her shine. And there's strength in elegance. There's intention in every detail. And there's power. And that's why her work has remained so enduring across generations and across cultures. At a moment where in my own country, Saudi Arabia, we're investing so deeply in culture and fashion and the creative economy, it's important to recognize pioneers like Reem, women who helped create the space for a broader global appreciation of talent from the region. And boy, did she ever do that. Beyond her extraordinary accomplishments, Reem also leads with grace and generosity. And I think that humanity is a part of what makes her so admired by so many people around the world. Tonight, it is an absolute honor to celebrate not only an exceptional designer, but a woman whose work has helped shape cultural dialogue far beyond fashion itself. Please join me in warmly welcoming Reem Acra and honoring her with the Meridian Cultural Diplomacy Award. Alf Mabruk.
So Reem Acra, it is my true honor to present you with the Meridian Cultural Diplomacy Award.
Well, thank you, Princess Rima, and thank you, Marlene, and thank you for wearing Reem Acra. Distinguished guests, ambassadors, fellow honorees, and friends, I'm deeply honored to receive this recognition tonight from Meridian International Center. As someone born in Beirut, whose life and career have been shaped between cultures, I have always believed that creativity has the power to connect people in ways that politics and borders sometimes cannot. Fashion, for me, was never only about beauty. It has always been about identity, heritage, craftsmanship, and human connection. I grew up surrounded by extraordinary artistry, the colors of the Levant, the richness of handwork, the elegance of tradition, and the resilience of people who continue to create beauty even in difficult times. Those memories stayed with me and became part of every collection I have ever designed. When I came to the United States, I discovered another extraordinary gift: opportunity. America gave me the freedom to dream bigger, to build a global company, and to share a vision where cultures do not compete. They inspire one another. Over the years, I have had the privilege of dressing women from many nations, backgrounds, and beliefs. And what I learned is that elegance is universal, beauty is universal, and emotion is universal. That is why organizations like Meridian International Center matter so much. They remind us that culture is not luxury, it is bridge. It is a bridge. It opens dialogue, creates understanding, and brings humanity closer together. I share this honor with my incredible team, the artisans and makers who keep craftsmanship alive, and with many women around the world who inspire me every single day. And finally, I dedicate this recognition to Beirut, a city of resilience, creativity, and soul, and to every young person who dares to believe that their story, their culture, and their creativity can reach the world. Thank you very much.
This is going to be one of those nights where you're saying, like, wow, a lot. It's great to follow that. Our next awardee is someone who has spent decades uncovering and protecting one of humanity's greatest civilizations. This honoree has dedicated his life to preserving history and reminding the world that antiquity is not simply about the past, but about stewardship, identity, and legacy. You've all seen him in a million documentaries, or as one of my college friends who culture probably doesn't best describe him said, dude was great on Rogan. He's got range.
Good evening. This is a very special evening for me. I do want to start out by saying to Phil, I'm married to an Army Ranger. And don't worry, every Army-Navy game, it's a little tense, but we always say whether Army or Navy wins, no matter who wins, America always wins. I really want to say how proud I am to be here and how proud I am of Meridian. There is a pretty amazing woman who's the chairman of the board, my friend Deborah Lair. She's been a friend for many, many years. And I think what you don't know is that I had the privilege of being with her on her very first and second trips to Cairo and to Egypt. And I told her there was this man she was going to meet, Dr. Zahi Hawass. And she said, what are we going to do with him? And I said, he's going to take us for about a 7-hour drive outside of Cairo into the black and white desert. And she said, is it safe? I said, I'm not sure. And we don't have security. But this is a really special honor for me. And where is CEO Dave Bohegan, if I may do a little shout out here? We're so excited that you've taken the helm of this organization. I've known Dave for over 25 years. We met when we were 6 years old, and I'm really, really proud of you. And I just want to also say a huge thank you to Ambassador Stuart Holliday and Gwen Holliday for your incredible service to this organization. And as I start to introduce Dr. Hawass, I have to tell you a little story about him. But I feel so proud that I can count all 3 cultural diplomacy awardees as some people that are my friends and people I admire. Reem Acra, you make so many women, not just in the Middle East, all around the world, so proud. Your legacy is extraordinary. One of the most beautiful dresses you made was Deborah's daughter, Alexandra Rogers' wedding dress. That was so stunning. And Justine and Jeff Koons, I have had the privilege of counting them as friends for more than 12 years. I remember being with Jeff in Doha, I think it was 2 years ago, and asking him, you're the most famous living American artist, by far. Why have you invested so much in the Middle East? And he actually said, because if we don't have a partnership with this region, we will never have peace in the world. And finally, I call him Chairman Fred Hochberg, because he was my boss when I served on the Egyptian American Investment Fund. He called me up and said, Congress has actually done something bipartisan. They think that if we invest in Egypt and we invest in the entrepreneurs of Egypt and the next generation of Egypt, it will really solidify not just the bilateral relationship we have, but if we can actually empower a new generation of extraordinary Egyptian entrepreneurs, it will make a difference. You made a huge difference, and I'm so proud of you. Okay, so now to my friend, Dr. Hawass. I met Zahi Hawass when I was 8 years old in Dallas, Texas. He and my father were best friends. I had immigrated to Dallas as a 5-year-old, not speaking English. I was young, so I learned English quickly. Texan took me a lot longer. I hate to say that the state of, that I count as where I grew up and Stuart and Gwen count, can sometimes not be as welcoming to immigrants in that period of time. And I remember going to school, and my mom always packed my lunch, and I remember sitting with all the cute blonde girls, and I just say that because Texas has a lot of blonde girls, and sitting with them and opening my lunchbox, and there was hummus and grape leaves, and all I wanted was a turkey sandwich so that I could fit in. This is what was going on in my mind when my father said, I have the greatest gift for you. My friend, Dr. Zahi Hawass, is bringing King Tut to Dallas, Texas. And I said, Ramses II, okay. I think you brought King Tut to New York. Is that fair to say? That's later. It's part of my story. Okay, Ramses II is who he brought to the Dallas Museum of Art. And I said, what does this have to do with me as an 8-year-old? He said, I have tickets for your whole 3rd grade class. And I said, that's awful. I don't want anyone to know that I'm Egyptian American. I want them just to think that I'm American. And he said, I promise you he will make it so special. And I was horrified and horrified. I hate to admit it, but you're 8 years old and you want to just fit in. Well, Dr. Hawass shut down the exhibit for Ramses II. He took my entire 3rd grade class through, and honestly, that changed my life because it made me be so proud of my Egyptian heritage. And suddenly I was a little bit cool. Literally 25 years later, John F.W. Rogers recruits me to Goldman Sachs. And I leave DC and I go to work at Goldman Sachs, and I have a 5-year-old and an 18-month-old. And my eldest, Kate, was having a hard time. She had moved to New York, she had started this new school, and she was not making friends. I mean, it was only a few months in. And Zahi called me and said, I am bringing King Tut to New York. And I said, Kate, Uncle Zahi is bringing King Tut to New York. And she's like, I don't want to do anything like that. What are you talking about, Mom? Please don't embarrass me. Please don't embarrass me with Egyptian things. And I said, it was almost crazy, right? And I said, but I already got tickets for your whole kindergarten class. And he took us and he shut down the exhibit, and Kate became the most popular kindergartner at Nightingale Bamford. That's how far back I go with this man. That's what he means to my family. He didn't just inspire 2 generations to be proud of their heritage. He put Egypt on the map. Dr. Hawass, all of Egypt is proud of you and thankful to you for preserving not just the King Tuts and the Ramses, and he thinks he's found the queen, but also he restored every single synagogue in Egypt. Your legacy is extraordinary. I am so honored to give you this award.
Dina did not buy tickets. I invited her. Before I came here, I asked Deborah Lear, I said, am I speaking after I receive the award? She said, no. Then I had to go and had many drinks after that. Then excuse me if I not that good. I want to say that Dina and her father and her family became a part of my life, really, because I enjoyed meeting Dina when I was young and when she was rising, when she worked for Bush and Trump and come to Egypt. And the Egyptians, all of them are very proud of her. And about Deborah. Deborah, I think I consider her as an institution. She really did a lot for preserving Egyptian antiquities and returning stolen artifacts. And I really have to thank you a lot for that. When I began to hold this award, it came to me the 50 years in my life that I have been working in archaeology, discovered major sites in Saqqara and Giza and Luxor, writing more than 50 books, traveling all over the world. And I'm not going to talk about what I'm doing right now is searching for the tomb of Nefertiti in the Valley of the Kings, searching for the tomb of Imhotep in Saqqara, with DNA and CT scan, searching for the tomb, for the mummy of Nefertiti and Ankhesenamun, the queen of Tutankhamun. But I want to tell you why all of this happened to me. I'm going to tell you the story, and that's it. Because if you want to hear a lecture of mine, it's 1 hour and a half. And I will come to Washington, D.C. Next year, in July, I think, giving a big, large lecture. I'm giving 60 lectures in 60 cities in America in 2027. But I want to tell you why all of this happened to my life. When I was young, I was dreaming to be a lawyer. Because I see lawyers have nice cars and they make money, then I thought I should be like this. When I graduated from high school in the age of 15 and a half, I did go to join faculty of law. And I bought 2 books. I went to the dorm, began to read. I said, no way, I will not be. I hate law. I returned the books back and I switched it from faculty of law to faculty of arts. In faculty of arts, there was 20 departments. What I do, I'm young, I don't really know. They told me there is a new department open called archaeology. I said, what do you do when you graduate from archaeology? He said, you translate things. I said, okay. I was very bad student for 4 years, just pass. And really, I did not like archaeology at all. I finished after 4 years in the age of 19 and a half with just a grade to go. After 1 year, the Egyptian government in that time gave a job to everyone. If you are stupid, you take it. If you are smart, you take it. I took the job Inspector of Antiquities in 1969, and I did go to the Antiquities department. I looked at the people, they hate each other. I said, no, I'm not going to be like these people. I have to leave. I studied for 1 year to be a diplomat, like our ambassador Mu'taz, and I failed. I tried to go to tourism, I failed. Then I had to go to Antiquities. The head of Antiquities met me. He said, I wrote a decree that you have to go to do excavation. I said, what? Do I leave my girlfriend in Cairo and go in the desert? No way, I'm not going. He said, if you don't go, I will cut 15 days of your salary. I was afraid. I took my bag and I went in a very dusty train to the site. And one day, one of the workmen came to me to say, we found a tomb. We need you to come. I came, and the head of the workmen gave me a brush. He said, clean in the middle of the tomb. With the brush, I began to clean. I found a statue, beautiful statue of Aphrodite, goddess of beauty and love. When I was cleaning the statue, I said, I found my love. I found my love. Then after I had passion for archaeology, I found I'm an idiot. I know nothing. I began to study at Cairo University. I took a master. And I was able to have a Fulbright fellowship for 7 years at the University of Pennsylvania. I want to tell you, the 7 years that I stayed at Penn, it changed my life. Because of my study in the United States, and because of my passion, I began to do great things for my country, bringing stolen artifacts, restoring Coptic and Jewish and Muslim monuments, and also at the same time traveling, talk about Egypt. It's because of one thing, passion. If you have passion for anything small, you make it big. And I made from archaeology big. Thank you.
Anyone who thought I was crazy for saying I was relentlessly optimistic, how you feel now? That's why. Dina is why. Dina's husband, and this isn't some secretive Ranger cabal, if my dad didn't check me for losing exceptionalism, her husband would, because they know each other. It's a weird thing. That's like they're all cross-checking me at the same time. That was 5,000 years of history. Dr. Hawass, you make it feel like it was yesterday. And I should note, when my buddy told me he was on Rogan, and I ended up on YouTube, which is a rabbit hole you don't necessarily want to go down, there's also this great video of him just eviscerating conspiracy theorists with Piers Morgan. Highly recommend. Like, worth whatever hour-and-a-half lecture he can give just to sit and watch that as well. Next up, we pause to recognize someone whose leadership and commitment have helped shape Meridian during an important chapter in the institution's history. To provide a very special tribute, please welcome to the stage the aforementioned Deborah Lair.
Well, it's wonderful to be here with so many friends this evening and just delighted with everything that's happened so far, what inspirational speeches we had this morning and now. And Stuart, you must be so proud of the legacy that you've left. And David, we're so excited to have you on board with the vision ahead. But today, this evening, we're recognizing somebody really special. And when I was thinking about what to say about Fred tonight, I considered a single word. I said this earlier, but salesman. Let me explain. Fred's mother, Lillian Vernon, was one of America's great entrepreneurs, and she built a business from her kitchen table into an iconic company. And Fred very clearly has inherited her gifts. Over the course of his career, he sold ideas, opportunities, relationships, and institutions. As the longest-serving chairman of the Export-Import Bank, he sold the importance of American exports and American competitiveness. And as an author, he's made the case that trade is not simply about transactions, but about connecting people and nations. And here at Meridian, Fred may have been the best salesman we've ever had. No disrespect, Stuart. He sold Meridian to the diplomatic community, he sold it to the business community, he sold Meridian to foundations, to partners, supporters, to board members, and perhaps most importantly for me, he sold it to me. Every time Fred talks about this institution, you can feel how deeply he believes in it. He's believed in its mission, he believes in its people, and he believed that bringing people together across borders and sectors and cultures matters more today than ever before. And I really think that that belief is contagious. Since joining the board in 2017 and becoming chair in 2023, Fred has helped lead Meridian through tremendous growth, visibility, and at times definitely uncertainty. Some very scary times that we'd had and wondering really about the future of the institution. But through it all, he challenged us to act, to think bigger, move faster, and be more ambitious. He always asked the right questions, and he always expected action. And what I admire most about Fred is that he understands something fundamental about diplomacy. It's not just about policy and governments. It's about people, it's about relationships, it's about culture, it's about finding common ground. And Fred championed the idea through his whole career and throughout his time at Meridian. Although I should point out that really maybe there was an emphasis on culture, perhaps not the sports part of it. At a recent sports diplomacy dinner, Fred was introduced to Eli Manning, and he turned to a member of our staff and said, "Who is that?" But to be fair, if the event was about a famous playwright or artist or conductor, Fred would have certainly known who he was talking to. But that moment captured something really wonderful, I think, about Fred. He's endlessly curious, completely authentic, and never afraid to ask a question. And these qualities have really made him such an exceptional leader. And so personally, I'm very grateful for his confidence and his counsel and his support as I step into the role as chair. I have very, very big shoes to fill and a very high bar to meet. But fortunately, Fred's leadership has made Meridian stronger than ever. The institution is really very well positioned for the future because of what he has done. And Fred, thank you for your leadership, your friendship, your humor, and your unwavering belief in Meridian. So thank you for being our greatest champion, and we are so honored to present you with the 2026 Meridian Global Leadership Award.
Total surprise.
Over there. Perfect.
Well, this is totally unexpected. I was thinking about my 8th or 9th grade English teacher who said, particularly on a night of cultural diplomacy, he said to me, you know, I think English is your second language. Which I realized was not a flattering thing to say to a 12 or 13-year-old at that time. Other people said that maybe you actually are a descendant of Bubis Americanus, so also not very cultural. So, but let me, I'm totally surprised, and thank you, Deborah. And I've had 9 extraordinary years on the board, the last 3 years as chair, and had the support of a spectacular board, a great team here at Meridian. Stuart recruited me over lunch, and I never forgot that. And I said the other night, and I think Ann Stock, my predecessor, did a little whispering in Stuart's ear, so a hats off to Ann, whose birthday was yesterday. And I could not be happier with our new CEO, David Bohegan, Deborah Lair as our chair. One of the things a board needs to do is make sure there's a continuity of leadership, and Stuart set a high bar, and I'm thrilled that we have David, or Dave, as our CEO, and Deborah as our chair. And this place is a very special place, and I actually got more out of Meridian than they got from me, because I learned so much about diplomacy, so much about organizations, and this has been a great privilege and a complete and total surprise. So thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Dave.
Quick editorial note, for those of us in the press corps, young pups covering Ex-Im Bank policy, Fred was like an Avenger. His ability to survive, to have the Ex-Im Bank survive, was far more impressive than anything I'd ever seen before. I got you on sports. You put the two of us together, we couldn't be beaten. We would be amazing. Congratulations. Well, few living artists are recognizable in every corner of the world. Also, all of my family and friends, when they found out I was doing this, had looked at the list of honorees, reached out about this one individual repeatedly, Jeff Koons. For decades, his work has invited audiences into a world of curiosity, imagination, wonder, reminding us that art has the power to connect people far beyond language or geography.
Actually, I feel honored to be able to give this award to Jeff, who's been my idol for so many, many years. As Phil said, Jeff Koons is literally one of the world's most celebrated artists. And as we saw from the video tribute, and whether one follows contemporary art or not, Jeff is one of those rare artists whose work is both relatable and recognized all over the world. Over the decades, his sculptures, installations, and exhibitions have crossed borders and cultures, creating moments of wonder, curiosity, and of course, captivated audiences on every single continent. My own appreciation for Jeff's work is rooted in a really special memory. I still remember visiting the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao shortly after it opened in the late 90s, and I was just an early career in my museum profession. And I encountered the puppy sculpture for the first time. And seeing that monumental, iconic, flowering sculpture standing outside this seminal new museum was truly unforgettable. It was playful, joyful, but also surprisingly moving. And I left with a sense of wonder that really has stayed with me today. Yet what makes Jeff's contribution so extraordinary is not only the global reach of his work, but the philosophy that has guided behind it, which we heard a lot about today. Throughout his career, he has championed the idea that art can serve as a universal language, one that, again, transcends differences, invites participation, and brings people together. Your work has consistently reflected a belief in openness and dialogue and the power of culture to foster understanding among peoples. The significance of this contribution has been recognized at the highest levels. The United States awarded Jeff the State Department's Medal of Honor in recognition of his support for, sorry, it just all went dark, for his support in the Art and Embassies program and his role, of course, in advancing cultural diplomacy. France has twice honored him with the nation's highest order of merit, the Legion of Honor, elevating him to the rank of commander in recognition of his exceptional contributions to culture, and to strengthening ties between nations. These distinctions join a long line of international honors, museum accolades, and lifetime achievements that not only reflect artistic excellence, but your enduring commitment to building bridges. Jeff, your work has inspired generations, and I wanted to add before I close that one of your magnificent pieces is going to be opening soon at the renovated sculpture garden at the Hirshhorn at the Smithsonian Institution later this year, and I hope you will all come see it, and I know you're also going to be doing a program in conjunction with Meridian there. So we look forward to recognizing you not only tonight for all your contributions, but in the future. And it is my great honor to present you with the 2026 Meridian Cultural Diplomacy Award.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. That was, there were wonderful words, and you know, I'm so grateful all the distinguished guests and all the friends that are here, the Meridian group. I'm very grateful to be invited to be participating in celebrating cultural diplomacy. But I always have to pinch myself because I'm always just in, you know, kind of wonderment that I've been able to have this journey within my life, to be involved in a dialogue, just as we are here today, about the power of arts, the power of communication, the ability, our interest in each other, in that we share more. We share so much with each other, more than we have in our own separate beings. With Dr. Haswa, okay, I'm sorry, Haswa? Hawass, okay, Hawass. But Doctor, to think about the impact of your culture, you know, as an artist, the language that we're working with. I said earlier this afternoon, my love of material sciences. We wouldn't even have chemistry without Egyptian culture. And so, you know, the way our inner beings are, we have all this interconnectivity. We look at our genes, we look at our DNA. Our external world, our cultural lives are interconnected in the same way. And all of these connections hold us together as a knitted fabric. And that's really where, you know, we're able to find meaning, we're able to experience really the strength that we have as a race, as human beings. And so the journey that art, which I'm very grateful, this vehicle that has so many of the disciplines, human disciplines, united together, has been able to afford me to participate in a vocabulary of becoming. And hopefully, yes, becoming more involved with other cultures. Over the decades, I've worked in many different countries making my work. I've produced works in Italy and in Germany, and to be able to get involved with those different cultures. And it changed me, it changed my world. It has helped me always develop a vocabulary of acceptance. And first and foremost, to accept the self. And when you accept yourself, you're able to develop the confidence to accept the external world. And we think of the arts sometimes as external objects, a painting, a sculpture. These are metaphors. They're metaphors for our own acceptance of ourselves that leads us to the ability that we can accept other people. And that's the objective art that I'm interested in. It's the connecting of everyone, what we share. I want to become more informed. I've become informed through Egyptian culture. I know that I'm going to continue to be informed from Egyptian culture. I've been very fortunate. I was born in American culture. I was born with an optimism. I was born in 1955. And I hope to be able to share that optimism with people, to share what strengths I may have as a human being while I'm trying to absorb all the strengths of other people from around the world. We are so much greater as one. So thank you very, very much for the award.
There's something incredibly surreal about having a conversation before this event about taking your kids to important cultural events and you realize you're talking to Jeff Koons. You're like, wow, that's totally insane. That's Jeff Koons, which was made even crazier by the fact the conversation I was having prior was about the importance of events like this in this individual's life and whether or not we were going to take vacations in the summers. Ilia Malinin was not. I was. Says a lot about where we both are in the trajectories of our careers. Because earlier this year, the world gathered in Milan and Cortina for the 2026 Olympics. And once again, we were reminded that sport has a rare ability to unite people across languages, cultures, and borders. Tonight, we honor 3 extraordinary American athletes whose achievements represented the very best of America, the values we hold so dear: determination to reach new heights, courage to face challenges and at times unforgiving conditions, sportsmanship and humility, ensuring wins and losses, but most importantly, a belief that anything is possible when we all work together for a common goal.
So my daughter went to the Milan Cortina Olympics and just absolutely sent me pictures of all of you. If she could see me now. So I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this award ceremony. The Olympics have always been about more than competition. The official Olympic motto is faster, higher, stronger, together. A reminder that excellence, resilience, national pride can transcend sport and inspire the world. The Games give us moments of awe, moments of unity, and athletes whose stories stay with us long after the medals have been awarded. Tonight, we honor 3 extraordinary Olympians and gold medalists who represented Team USA and whose achievements have inspired audiences across the world. Nicknamed the Quad God, nicknamed the Quad God, Ilia Malinin is a trailblazing American figure skater celebrated for pushing the sport to new technical heights and showing remarkable sportsmanship. I can't believe it, at just 21 years old, he is already a 3-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and the first skater ever to land a quadruple axel. Amazing. His skill, courage, and class make him an outstanding role model. Chris Lillis represents the fearlessness and discipline that define Olympic sport. and its highest level. Chris stands out for combining rare technical skill with long-term consistency under pressure. I got my notes, I learned, okay. But what makes Chris especially remarkable and a true champion is his resilience, humility, and hometown pride. Chris brings a generosity to everything beyond competition, mentoring young athletes, and giving back to the community that shaped him. And Breezy Johnson, journey to Olympic gold became one of the most defining comeback stories of the 2026 Olympic Games. Breezy embodies the spirit of perseverance, rising through challenges with unwavering determination. Her journey from the slopes of Idaho to the global stage showcases not only her athletic prowess, but also her commitment to excellence. Breezy's contributions to the U.S. ski team and her impressive performances in downhill and Super G events have solidified her status as a champion. Together, these athletes remind us why sports matter, not only because of victory, but because great athletes have the power to inspire people who may never speak the same language, who may not come from the same place, or share the same experiences. Ilia, Breezy, and Chris, we are so proud to honor you each tonight with the Gold Medal Diplomacy Award. Join me in thanking them.
Wow, this is actually more nervous than me being on the ice, actually. I would first like to say thank you, Meridian. This is such a huge honor to be here, honored with this award. It really means a lot to me, especially coming from a background of figure skating and everything where my sport is truly my passion, my goal, and something that only I see the fire in my eyes. One thing that I also want to say to all of you is thank you for realizing us this morning where we have different views on our goals and how we share our different perspectives on the world, especially coming from sports. It also shows that we have a huge appreciation for all of what you guys do, and I'm so incredibly honored to be a part of this welcome community here. I want to thank everyone who supports us through Follow Our Dreams, Follow Our Goals, and just wanted to say thank you to all of you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Meridian, and it's an absolute honor to receive this award and to spend time meeting so many of you today. It's an absolutely great group, and I'll just say that it's been the honor of my life representing the U.S. in the Olympics, and it's people like you who share a love of sport and a love of travel and a love of adventure that really make that special for us, and we feel it wherever we are, and especially at the Olympics. I hope together with all of you that we've helping to create a world that's a little bit closer, a little smaller, a little bit brighter, and definitely a lot safer for future generations to come. And so thank you so much for having me here to be with you.
Thank you, guys. I'll try to keep this short because I know everybody's eager for dinner, but thank you, guys. As athletes, we really are nothing without people being willing to watch us. I think that the other piece that nobody here has talked about tonight is the piece that we all play in culture, what we watch, what we do, what we spend money on. All of these things dictate where culture goes. And so thank you guys for watching us at the Olympics and honoring us here tonight. And thank you for swaying culture in the way that you see fit, because I think that we're going in good directions, and I am also hopeful.
I appreciate Breezy channeling what I could feel from my wife when she was like, I know you want to tell your personal stories about how much you love all three of them. We're hungry, which is fair. So thank you. That was helpful. I would have gotten in a lot of trouble. Look, this has been an absolutely extraordinary evening. Tonight, we celebrated 6 extraordinary individuals whose work has shaped the worlds of art, of fashion, sport, scholarship, culture, all of them in profound ways. And throughout this evening, we were reminded that creativity has the unique ability to bring people together, to spark curiosity, and even when the teleprompter goes down, we just keep rolling. This is your worst nightmare, because I will start riffing. And create connection across borders and generations. I want to take one final moment to recognize tonight's honorees: Reem Acra, Dr. Zahi Hawass, Jeff Koons, Ilia Malinin, Chris Lillis, and Breezy Johnson. And thank you as well to tonight's presenters, performing artists. You guys have been amazing. And to everyone at the Meridian whose work has made this possible throughout the evening. Thanks to all of you for being a part of this celebration and for supporting Meridian's mission to strengthen diplomacy through culture, exchange, and human connection.